I made a short video on understanding, we have to understand the times. Now I'm going to get into why we should understand the time. Not only we need to understand the times, but we have to accept the times that we're living in. Now, I'm not saying that we need to go with the flow. I'm saying that we have to make it durable for us in these times. Because these times are definitely uncertain. Now, we already know about the jobs, especially now, is uncertain. Certain careers are uncertain. If you see the writing on the wall, now it's time to start preparing on the next move that you need to make. Because if you just going along with it, not preparing, then that is not so good move on your part. It's like you seen the writing on the wall, or maybe you heard, even if you hear the writings on the wall, it's best to prepare for your sake and for your loved ones and the people around you's sake. Because you could be that defining moment to not only keep yourself afloat, but to keep the ones around you afloat. Now, keeping those around you afloat, I'm not only talking about finances. In fact, I'm not talking about finances in that case, keeping afloat. That's the funny thing enough, that's what first thing that comes into mind is the financial part. No. It's the intangibles. It's the passing down the knowledge that what you know to your loved ones and those around you, so they can equip themselves in these uncertain times. And you're giving them that understanding of what's going on around you, near and far. So the essentials on how you should understand the times. Well, it's all about analyzing the information, right? Whether it's on the news, whether it's online, and even word of mouth. Now, pay attention to data or look at the patterns. For example, remember when COVID first hit, and even before that, there was superstars kind of talking about it, actually joking about it, right? Because it didn't hit home. It wasn't in front of our doorstep. And then soon, like a bat of an eye and a snap of a finger, all of a sudden, you got to wear masks before entering a building. businesses slowed down tremendously. You couldn't, in a way, be outside because the businesses, you have to stand more than a few feet apart. And when especially when you're standing in line and only a few chairs and at these eatery spots, and the hours were much shorter. And it got to the point to where you hardly see any cars. No cars on the streets. And I'm like, where are the cars? The cars literally, I kid you not. The cars on my street, they literally almost like disappeared. I only seen like 4 or 5 cars. It got to the point to where I started seeing wildlife. You know. And when you start to see wildlife, you know something's up. And I'm not just talking about any wildlife. I'm not just talking about your squirrels and your typical raccoons. Although I seen a few of those. I'm talking about the area I'm in. If I was like near the mountains, I probably would be seeing some bears and mountain lions, which is before those mountain lions and bears was in the woods. They didn't even come strolling. Now, you didn't see no cubs or bears, but all of a sudden you might have seen some bears in your area just strolling, walking down the street, minding their business, and they looking at you like, what are you doing out here? But where I was at, I seen some deers and reindeers. Okay. The ones with the horns and ones without the horns. And it was literally on my grass apartments outside. Like a few feet away, just a few feet away from my doorstep. And it was just chilling and grazing. I knew then, I was like, yeah, total reset. But before that, though, it was like a joke. Now, as soon as I seen the video, I seen Cardi B on the plane, and she had the mask. She was wearing her mask, and she was traveling. But she was saying, coronavirus, it's getting real. It's getting real. Now, that was already too late. It already didn't touch down in front of our doorstep. All right. As soon as that happened, things started rolling out. Anyhow, that was that time. And then few years back, 4 or 5 years ago, then you hear about certain markets crashing, and the first set of wave of layoffs. Okay. People getting their pink slips and their packages, right? Which the packages which only last you they might have given you 6 months to a year pay, depending on the job. They wasn't going to cover you. You wasn't going to get no huge amount. You was going to get a small chunk. That was only literally 6 to 8 months, maybe at most 10 months. Depending on the job, depending on the field that you were in. Now, we're in some interesting times, right? Still, something else is happening. We have to start, seeing the room, reading the room. Because if you don't understand the current times, the time that you're in, you cannot prepare for the blow. Now, some of us that was prepared during that that time period of the coronavirus. So some of us had some savings put away to where we weren't in a panic mode. We just rolled. We were able to roll with the punches. Those that wasn't affected, their jobs didn't get affected. They was able to roll with the punches. If you had essential jobs, I was able to roll with the punches. Okay. And then there were jobs to where if you didn't take the shot, if you didn't take that COVID shot, then you couldn't work. That was the end of your career. From the truck drivers, so many truck drivers, many of them, went on and took the shot. But then there was a few that didn't. And those that didn't, they were let go. Same thing on nurses and doctors. They walked out and said, "There's no way, I'm not taking that shot." They didn't know where their next check was coming from. And maybe some of them had some savings, put away to where they can take a stand on that. They stood firm. They didn't bow down. They didn't, as you say, kiss the ring. Many kiss the ring. They bowed down, even if they didn't want to, but because of desperation, they felt that they had to, right? So, if you don't learn to understand the times, if you let times pop up on you and what's going around just happen, then there's no way that you would survive, much less thrive. You'll be tossed to and fro. So if you want to stay grounded, if you want your life to stay grounded, if you want to be grounded and stay grounded, you have to understand the times. And many will bank on that, the ones that push entertainment. If you just want to be entertained only, you are susceptible to being tossed to and fro. Now, a little entertainment to, a little entertainment is okay, but too much entertainment, remember, it can cost you. So, let me know what you think in the comments. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell button and like, share, comment, and subscribe.